The mysterious and well-known Grim Reaper serves as a generally recognized emblem of death that cuts across generations and cultural borders. The Grim Reaper is sometimes depicted as a skeleton, a cloaked figure holding a scythe, personifying death itself. The idea of death has persisted as a dominant and timeless subject throughout human history, cutting across both space and time. Contextualizing the development of the Grim Reaper requires an understanding of the historical setting in which he first appeared. Regarding death, the ancient Egyptians had a sophisticated and intricate religious system. Death was seen as a passage to the afterlife, and there were several gods and ceremonies created to help the dead on their trip. Notably, the jackal-headed deity Anubis was important in protecting the souls of the dead. Death was closely entwined with Greek mythology in antiquity. The deity of death, Thanatos, served as a major representative of mortality. Greek culture often portrayed death as a normal aspect of life, rather than in the gloomy ways that contemporary cultures do. The personification of death in Roman mythology was represented by Mors or Litum. Greek mythology had a strong impact on Roman society, which saw death as an inevitable part of existence. The highly developed funerary ceremonies and traditions showed a great deal of respect for the departed. Death's personification changed throughout time as cultures created increasingly intricate religious and cultural tales. It functioned as a way to clarify and personify the deep mysticism of mortality, making it an understandable and concrete idea for people. The creation of the Grim Reaper hinges on this shift from impersonal to personalized death. Strong connections between death and the afterlife have been made by many civilizations. Death was often seen as a transfer to another dimension, whether it was the Egyptian idea that the heart was weighed in the hall of Ma'at, the Greek notion of Hades, or the Roman belief in the existence of an afterlife. These ideas affected how people saw death and gave rise to gods and other entities who were thought to help souls go to their ultimate resting place. The European Middle Ages were crucial in molding the Grim Reaper into the well-known image he is today. Throughout the European Middle Ages, the phrase Grim Reaper increasingly gained popularity. The term grim has a feeling of dread and severity by itself, fitting nicely with the depiction of death as a dark and intimidating feature. The shift from generalized ideas of death to a particular personification represented the evolution of perspectives on mortality. The portrayal of death in art and literature increased dramatically throughout the medieval era. The Grim Reaper first appeared as a shrouded skeleton figure brandishing a scythe in illuminated manuscripts, paintings, and literary works. As memento mori, or remember your mortality, these images often acted as moralistic reminders of the fleeting aspect of life, promoting devotion and introspection. The horrific Black Plague epidemic in the 14th century had a significant influence on how people saw the Grim Reaper. Fears of dying were compounded by the pandemic's overwhelming size and the horrifying pace at which it took victims. During this terrifying time, the Grim Reaper served as a symbol of the epidemic itself, harvesting souls with its scythe. During the Middle Ages, the Grim Reaper's association with religious iconography grew. It stood for the inevitable divine vengeance and the judging of souls. It was emphasized that death spares no one, regardless of their social standing or riches, reinforcing the idea that death is the great equalizer. This symbolism was meant to act as a reminder of how crucial it is to live a moral life and seek redemption. Despite having its origins in medieval Europe, the Grim Reaper has been interpreted in a variety of ways by cultures all over the world. In Europe, different people have different ideas about the Grim Reaper. For instance, La Parca, the embodiment of death in Spain, is sometimes portrayed as a lady rather than the conventional skeleton image. In Sweden, there are several ways that death is portrayed, sometimes taking the form of an elderly man or a skeleton figure. In Germany, the Grim Reaper may be connected to various folk tales and rituals. Asian civilizations each have a unique perspective on death. In Japanese mythology and popular culture, the Shinigami, or death god, is common and often distinguished from the Grim Reaper in the West. Yanluo Wang, the King of Hell, is a well-known person connected to judgment and the afterlife in China. These Asian equivalents often stand out from the crowd and fulfill certain cultural functions. The folk beliefs and superstitions surrounding death vary greatly across cultures. These may include ceremonies and customs for pacifying the dead, driving away evil spirits, and ensuring a smooth transition to the afterlife. These ideas could be influenced by the Grim Reaper or other figures that serve as a reminder of the outcomes of life and death choices. The Grim Reaper still has a strong place in people's imaginations today. In literature, cinema, television, and other forms of art, it continues to be a compelling symbol. Its representation often mixes traditional components with contemporary reinterpretations, taking on both scary and funny aspects. Books like Terry Pratchett's Discworld series, Neil Gaiman's The Sandman, and well-known video games all highlight this legendary character's ongoing appeal and flexibility. The Grim Reaper's symbolism and history are profoundly based on a variety of historical and mythical concepts, which all add to the character's lasting mystery. The Grim Reaper may be seen as a psychopomp, a conductor of souls to the hereafter, or a guide of spirits from the world of the living. Psychopomps are mythical creatures who help people transition between life and death in a variety of civilizations. This idea emphasizes the Grim Reaper's function as a guide for souls on their trip into the hereafter. Ancient mythical characters like Thanatos, the Greek god of death, and Charon in Greek mythology may be used to determine the ancestry of the Grim Reaper. Thanatos represented the kind, peaceful side of death, while Charon carried souls over the Styx River to the afterlife. These factors influenced the creation of the Grim Reaper and gave it elements of old myth and tradition. Scythes are agricultural implements used for harvesting crops, and they are commonly seen as wielded by the Grim Reaper. The harvesting of souls and the suddenness of death are both represented by the scythe. Furthermore, the hourglass, which is often connected to the Grim Reaper, stands for the passing of time and the limited nature of existence. These representations act as a constant reminder of the transience of life and the unstoppable march of time toward death. The eternal symbolism of the Grim Reaper is inextricably linked to the idea of mortality and the human condition. It acts as a sobering reminder of the impending reality of death and the mystery surrounding what lies beyond. The image captures the anxieties, doubts, and reflections that have always been a part of the human experience. The idea of the Grim Reaper and its symbolic meaning captures a core human curiosity with the unsolved questions surrounding life and death. Its historical, mythical, and metaphorical roots may be traced, which adds to its standing as a lasting and provocative image of death and the human predicament. This timeless image continues to compel thought and inquiry into how we see the certainty of death. Beyond its symbolic roots, the Grim Reaper's influence on culture and society affects how people see and engage with the idea of death. The intrinsic human dread of death has long been linked to the Grim Reaper. It arouses a deep and pervasive dread of the unknown because of its menacing look and function as a sign of death. The figure emphasizes the human struggle to accept the notion of our death by acting as a physical manifestation of this anxiety. The Grim Reaper has served as a powerful emblem for social and cultural criticism throughout history. Its imagery has been used by authors, philosophers, and artists to make social commentary on a variety of topics, including the effects of war, the perils of excess, and the transience of earthly pursuits. The Grim Reaper becomes a means of delving into existential issues and challenging cultural norms. There are ethical issues with how death and the Grim Reaper are portrayed in literature, art, and popular culture. The urge to explore themes of death and the Grim Reaper must be balanced with the risk of sensationalization, desensitization, or exploitation of the subject. respecting varied audiences' sensibilities while recognizing the educative and cathartic benefits of such portrayals are ethical issues. As a cultural and sociological icon, the Grim Reaper captures the intricate interaction between our predisposed dread of dying, the possibility of employing it as a means of commentary, and the moral concerns that guide its representation. Its significance as a thought-provoking and varied figure that continues to question and engage our concept of death is underscored by its persistent appearance in numerous kinds of media and art. That's all for this video. We'll be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. To keep exploring ancient history together, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Until next time!